as it is still Domestic Violence Awareness Month, I want to talk to you if you have endured trauma. And it's hard because we feel broken. We do get broken, whether you were physically abused, whether you were mentally abused, whether you were emotionally abused or financially abused. All abuse is abuse. And if you survived, you are unbroken and unsilenced. This was the first shirt I bought after I got out to remind myself that I was strong. And what's crazy is when you're a victim of domestic violence, you are weak, right? In your head, you are weak. He is stronger than you. He is more powerful than you. He is in control and you don't have a say and you're weak. But as I started my healing journey, I started realizing I was actually the strong one because I survived. And so we are not domestic violence victims, we are domestic violence survivors. And that's such a good way to look at yourself, and such a good affirmation. I am strong, I am unbroken, I am unsilenced. And I want to read from you from Psalm 118. And a fun fact about this chapter is Psalm 117 is the shortest chapter in the Bible with just 2 verses. Psalm 119 is the longest chapter in the Bible with 176 verses. And Psalm 118 is the very middle chapter of the Bible. So there's 594 chapters before it, 594 chapters after it. Psalm 118 is the very middle. And so I encourage you to read this chapter because obviously God put it right in the middle when he planned his word to be the Bible for us. And so it's an important chapter. But I specifically, in thinking of domestic violence, I want to read this verse 13 through 14. And remember, David is the one who primarily wrote the book of Psalms. David, we know from David and Goliath that he defeated Goliath. But David also had lots of other enemies that he had to fight over his years as king. And so he's talking about his enemies in this context. He says, "You pushed me violently that I might fall." Does that sound like domestic violence? Does that sound like something that an abuser would do? Pushed me violently that I might fall, but the Lord helped me. The Lord is my strength and my song, and he has become my salvation. And so God is our strength. God is the reason that we can be strong. And so if you have been pushed down, like I said, whether it was physically that your abuser abused you, or if it was mentally, if you have been violently pushed down, if you have endured abuse, know that God can be your salvation, that God is your strength and your song.